Welcome to Plot Roast with your hosts, Mick Manhattan and Casey the Madman Plot, where a couple of friends watch some movies and tell some jokes about them. Thanks for joining, and now your host.
Welcome everybody to the Plot Roast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan. Normally I'm joined by my cohort in crime, Mr. Casey the Madman Plot, but he is gone. He's sick, so I had to get an improvement and upgrade. I brought the 2.0, Mr. Brian Patrick, my partner from Pulling Focus podcast. What is up, buddy?
Hey, man, how's it going? I don't know if it's an upgrade or not. Let's call it a lap move just in case Casey watches
this. Listen, there's only one thing better than watching the Stupids.
What's that?
That is not watching the Stupids. No, it's being able to make fun of it.
I wholly concur. Message is authentic.
Listen, I want to thank Paul. Thank you, Paul, our patron who recommended this. But I also want to say, damn you, Paul, for recommending this. This is our first, lack of a better term, stupid movie that we've watched.
Give me a recap. What have you seen so far?
We watched Mannequin, which turned out to be way more problematic than we remembered.
Didn't age well.
Did not age well at all in any way, shape, or form. But still, there's still nostalgia there. The 80s had a lot of problems. Our next one,
80s was a unique time for sure.
They really were. There's so many movies we could just discuss, and you can watch and listen to us discuss them on Pulling Focus podcast. But we did Halloween Kills, which was the newest Halloween. So we had an old movie, an 80s movie, then a new movie, and now we're in the 90s with the Stupids.
Yeah.
The John Landis directed Tom Arnold vehicle that just did not land in 1994 for whatever reason. I did not know this was based on a children's book series.
Not me either. And I own a bookstore called The Stupids.
Yeah, they have different titles, but The Stupids are where it starts. So it's The Stupids. The Stupids die. The Stupids step out, and the Stupids take off. Which one was first? I have no idea. So I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah. Well, news to me, books are supposed to be entertaining and educational, but that just seems like a manual for disaster to me.
Oh yeah, something tells me that this just didn't land in many ways. But I never read the Stupids books, but so I guess they're more popular enough, and you know better than I do. But books, when you have a children's book and it becomes a series, it's probably taken off. It's probably been pretty good, because you're not going to get that second try if the first one did.
Recap. Give me your 2-sentence plot of the movie, The Stupids.
I have no idea. No. No. Okay. So what I took away from it was this very stupid family who are just ignorant to how the world works, stumble upon a conspiracy thinking while they were investigating a garbage conspiracy into an arms smuggling conspiracy. And then they have an assassination attempt put out on them. And the entire movie is them trying to unfold everything. But it's the wrong mystery that they're trying to solve. They're trying to... See, this is so stupid. They're trying to... Okay, so they think their garbage is being stolen. So he follows the garbage
and that must be stopped.
It must be stopped. Let's just start there. Let's just go point by point. We'll just cover the basics.
All right, hit me.
So, and we talked about this before about there's some good jokes that don't land in this because I think everything overall is just really dumb. So when you have this big dome of dumbness covering your whole movie, all the little jokes, little nuances that you kind of put together. When she's talking into she's talking in a tape recorder, recording herself, and she goes, and at the end,
I'm laughing.
She does the whole thing. She does the whole narration really well about this investigation she's trying to do. The wife, Mrs. Stupid or whatever, And she goes, and remind myself to pick up an actual tape recorder with batteries, because then I can stop talking into the garage door opener. And she hits the button to stop it from recording.
Mm-hmm.
And it lifts somebody's random garbage, like knocks over a guy painting it. Like, so those are funny jokes, but when your overall movie is stupid, the whole plot makes no sense. You're like, they're just not enough.
That movie is just one dumb joke after another, and I think strategically placed in a less intentionally dumb movie, some of those would have landed. Like, note to self: get a tape recorder so I'm not talking to a garage door opener. Click, guy falls. Great. That's your one. What's your one dumb joke for Act 1?
Listen, you know it's bad when I think that The Stupids is the worst thing John Landis has ever done. And anybody who knows John Landis and the fact that he killed 2 children and a man with a helicopter, me saying that this is the worst thing he's ever done says something.
This is the worst thing he's ever done to the world as a whole.
I don't know. Vic Morrow was a really great guy. But yeah, this movie for me, watching it through, I went into it and I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I remember it coming out when I was younger, but it was not one that was on my radar or wanted to pay attention to. So finally sitting down and watching it with fresh eyes, I was astonished at how bad it was.
Well, the only thing I know about it was that I knew that song, "I'm My Own Grandpa."
Yes.
That was like
that
was in the trailer or something, or maybe even MTV. I don't know, because Tom Arnold kind of ingratiated himself to MTV for a while there.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's kind of funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Tom Arnold seems like a guy who's always generationally off in some way. He never fit. Like when he was the slobbish guy married to Roseanne, it was like, all right, it works. But then like he tried to reinvent himself and all this, and like he became angry guy, and then he became stupid comedian, and then he became this, like fitting himself. I remember when he fit himself into like the MTV culture, and it was just kind of like, it's kind of like a bunch of kids hanging out and their uncle just kind of standing in the corner. That's what Tom Arnold is to me. He's always like that uncle that just kind of hangs out, and you're like, he's my uncle. You know,
he's cool. Give him a chance.
Just not even cool. Just like, you're just kind of like, just stay away from him.
Oh, he's that uncle, huh?
Don't feed the animals as you go past them, sort of uncle. You know, like it's a problem.
Don't go buy him smokes. Don't give him booze.
Don't invite girls over to the house because he's there.
Especially don't invite ladies over.
you know, and I'm not saying that's Tom Arnold as a whole, but as he's carried himself, like he always just seemed generationally off. Like,
yeah,
he's had some, like, I thought he was great in McHale's Navy. I was like, oh, this works. This is like your one.
True Lies. He was great in True Lies. You know,
yeah, I mean,
minor role, but
his minor roles, I think he lands. And when he plays that side comedy character, it works.
Mm-hmm.
When he's in like right in the middle, right here, right the star of it, like in The Stupids, it's like, nah, this doesn't work.
Yeah, it's even hard to really agree with that, because like he may have acted it perfectly, you know, it was just bad from the start. You know, so he's on this mission to find out who's stealing their garbage. It's the garbage people who are supposed to take it. He ends up at the landfill, and I don't know, he thinks these terrorists and these US military people are like working on a deal to sell garbage or something instead of arms, which is what they're really doing. And you know, he's in his powder blue suit with his hat and the whole deal, you know, and not blending in whatsoever, but not really being outed. And he ends up they think he's a super spy. Like, it starts off, they're sleeping in the bed upside down, you know, head at the foot of the bed, feet sticking out. Like, they get up and just, it's all bad. You know, none of it makes any sense. how'd they get a house? How'd they have kids? How'd they get a car and driver's license? Like these people are that dumb.
Yeah.
How do they just luck into everything?
And it's because none of that makes sense. You're right, because you get down to it and you're following them. Even their neighbors are kind of like, "What do you? It's just your garbage. Calm down." Like I cannot see this movie doing well in any hands. I don't know any director that could make this movie work.
Me either. Like it couldn't. It couldn't be made again. I don't think, and that's a good thing.
No.
Unless they made it like super dark. Like, have you seen these TikToks where they take children's board games and like make them horror posters?
Yes, I have seen that.
Like maybe that would be interesting. if they didn't stupidly luck into everything and there were some consequences for these jackwads.
I just, you watch this stupid show, you watch a stupid movie, and you go on and you're like, they piece this together. I don't know how they piece this together. Because I've read children's books. They have a narrative beginning, middle, and end. Like, I'm hoping those books do, if they made 3 of them and they were that popular. But what the hell were you thinking when you made this movie? There's just, because then you get into, again, it was being stupid for the sake of being stupid. Fine. Like, you're calling it the Stupids and you want to be ridiculous. I don't have that problem with absurdity. My problem is you still have to have the absurdity make sense to the people watching in a narrative sense.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't do that at all.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Who's doing movies like that now? Like every few years, something just completely bizarre comes out. Tom Green was doing stuff for a while.
Freddy got fingered, but even Freddy Got Fingered, as ridiculous of a movie as that is, the comedy lands because there's a through line, story there. He's just going to get from point A to point B. Don't get me wrong. I watch it. I'm like, when he screams out Japanese 4 while he's running through the lobby, like those are the jokes I'm talking about. That like in this movie, like it should have landed, but it didn't land because that's the ridiculousness. But you understand why he's doing it.
Right.
Like, he just thinks that being this distraction will get him where he needs to go. In this movie, they don't do that.
There's no awareness to it, right? There's no reasoning. They just are dumb.
They're just dumb for the sake of being dumb, and it's ridiculous and stupid, and not in a good way. You know what bugged me the most is that stupid song was stuck in my head. That my own grandpa, I am my own grandpa. After that, I just kept singing it. And I'm like, it makes sense because it's a catchy song.
Yeah, it's a pop song waiting to happen. Hopefully it never does.
That's the only thing that I think did work in this was that one scene with that song. Like they get stuck. Like they are exactly the family that should show up on like a Jerry Springer type show. So when they do, you're like, this makes a little sense to me. And the fact that he gets on by saying that and then singing the song, I was like, all right, this is the only thing that works because they have to do this to get to their goal. And then once they get to their goal, it's a complete wash. They're done. And they completely gave up on it. Not gave up on it, but like the story no longer makes sense because it's just kind of like, we'll see what happens. This had to be a writer's worst nightmare in work.
So you watched the Stupids to do this show, right? To do Plot Roast.
I did
because your patron Mike.
No, this was Paul who gave us this one.
Paul, thank you, patron Paul. Mostly kidding, Paul. Mostly kidding.
There's a piece there, though. There's a piece, Paul, where we watch this and we feel a little drained for having done it.
Makes my heart sad.
But the thing about this one is, like, I'm actually kind of glad I did watch it. The only reason I say that is because for me, I don't even remember knowing this movie. I remember remember trailers, stuff like that on television, but not going to see it, didn't really know anything about it. So having been able to watch it and realize just how fucking terrible a director in the 90s John Landis was. Just, it landed perfectly for me. I needed to know that. You know, Blues Brothers 2000 and Beverly Hills Cop 3 did not answer those questions for me. The stupids clearly came and did. No, this movie was stupid. This movie was ridiculous on many levels, and the aliens are what pissed me off the most.
Well, I think it was a little bit of a bait and switch to some extent, right? Because people probably saw those claymation pets and the aliens and stuff, and it's like, all right, this is going to be, I don't know, something other than it was. And then those things were barely in it.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder. I almost want to ask for the Landis cut just to see if, like, what's your cut of this movie? Are there more aliens to it or less? What's
the Landis cut?
Oh my God. Did you know? I don't know. I doubt you knew because I didn't know. And not that you don't know things I don't know. It's a shitty thing to say.
I won't take that as a slight. Don't worry.
I meant about this movie. Like, if you didn't know it, like, and I'm just finding out about it, probably chances are we didn't know much about this movie. Tim Allen and Jack Nicholson were both considered for the role of Stanley Stupid.
Well, considered is one thing. Like,
but here's my question. Tim Allen, in my opinion, is a much better comedian.
I agree.
And at that time, he was top form. So, like, I'm wondering, under one of them, would this movie have been better?
I don't know. I don't think so because, I mean, you see those Tim Allen Santa Claus movies, The Santa Claus or whatever it's called. You know, the goofiness in that and stuff. I don't think that really works either. So I just don't think this movie, in my opinion, I'll say is salvageable by recasting it. But, you know, I'm looking at the comments right now on this YouTube posting of it, and they are like the first one. Hello, Vivian. This movie made my childhood. Watching it now is even more hilarious. 79 thumbs ups to that comment. Listen to this one. This one's a little long, and then I won't read more comments. The irony is that this is actually one of the smartest (parentheses) and most original (close parentheses) comedies ever. What? I guess it just went over the people's heads. They don't make comedies like this anymore. Now slapstick and profanity is the way to go. Now that is really stupid. And it's got
wait.
And it's got a bunch of likes.
Like, again, I mentioned the nuanced comedy that's in there. I get it. I saw it. But it just doesn't land because of all the ridiculous slapstick that this stupid movie has. Like,
yeah,
that makes no sense with it. Like, again, that rollerblade joke under better cutting, better editing, I should say better editing, you know, and played by an actor who is a little more convincing and maybe a better director, that rollerblade joke should have landed.
So many maybes.
So many there. Well, but there's so many factors. Like, I'm telling you, if you had it in my vision, and I'm not saying I'm a better director than John Landis, maybe like in the 90s, like he might have gotten better. But he was good in the 80s. I wouldn't murder anybody though. So get that helicopter out of here. I'm not Kubrick.
Jesus Christ.
So here we go. Hey, this is Patreon. Nobody gives a shit.
Your show, buddy. Your show.
This YouTube version's not going to have this part in it. This is for the patrons only. But I'm telling you, under a better actor, especially a better comedic actor, and better timed and edited in a certain way, that rollerblade joke would have landed perfectly. Like, him running back and doing that and, like, cut in between, like, make it a little more thrilling. And then instead of pretending, like, showing him from here up, moving like this, like he's on the bike, oh, he chose it. We know he didn't. The eye line landed on the blades. So immediately cut to him, like, a football field away from the garbage truck trying to catch up. Like, there's your stupidity. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just forgetting.
I don't know. I think maybe the stupidest part of this whole movie is that the script was presented by a producer to John Landis, and he said yes.
Honestly, I really think that's not that stupid. See, he was Mr. Cash Grab, and I hate to fuck with the guy who made the Blues Brothers. I hate to fuck with the guy who did Animal House and some of my favorite movies. Trading Places. The man directed Thriller. But I like, as we go on and like you get out of, I mean, most of my favorite movies from the 80s were directed by him. Coming to America, Three Amigos, tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you get in the 90s, and his top movies, his only movies from the 90s are Oscar, the Sylvester Stallone movie,
Mm-hmm.
Innocent Blood. Have you ever heard of Innocent Blood?
No idea what that is.
Case in point. Beverly Hills Cop 3, The Stupids, Blues Brothers 2000. And that's it. Those are his movies. Oh, and Susan's Plan. So, like, 2 you've never heard of in your life. And the rest are like, come on, man. What are you doing to us? Like, and The Stupids we only heard of because, it was recommended. We could have gone on without doing that for good times. Just like, I'm like, what did you do to me?
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure Casey caught COVID on purpose so he didn't have to watch this movie.
Smart man. He just keeps a little vial of it around and swabs himself. I got COVID. I don't feel good.
He went out to a supermarket and he's like, everyone lick me. It's this or I have to watch The Stupids, and like 30 people ran at him.
No, don't watch The Stupids. Lick.
But I hate little comments like you just gave before from YouTube, or I forget where you caught it from, but
it was YouTube.
To say like people just don't understand. Like, yeah, no, there's a lot of people who understand comedy, and you can like the silliness of this. You can make you laugh. That might be what you're into. It's fine. It's not, but it's not the norm. It's not like, I don't know. I hate when people are like, well, listen, comedy comes, art and all this comes in all forms. It's like, yeah, but sometimes you're just smearing shit on a wall. Yeah,
exactly. Sometimes you're doing chimpanzee finger paint.
Yeah. And you're doing it for the reason that you shit on a wall. Like, that's how you're selling it. You're selling the shit on the wall. And fine. If the art world wants to let you sell it, make your money. Make your money off the Stupids, but it ain't art.
No, it ain't art. It's not good. No, the direction, it looks like a movie, so I guess the cinematography is fine, but the writing, the direction, the editing, all of it, the rest of it is bad, real bad. There are people, I'm really good at holding grudges. I have grudges against people from like 3rd grade that I will never see again. I don't know if they're alive or dead. I have my hopeful preference of where they are, but I wouldn't wish this on them. I just wouldn't. No.
Come on.
Nope.
You can wish this on a lot of people. Actually, this might be the movie that I go to from now on for people I don't like. This might be where I go and I'm just like, hey, you're the movie guy. Give me a movie recommendation. Yeah, The Stupids from 1996 or whatever it is. Have fun.
And that was the other part of it too. Is like they didn't think they were stupid. They don't think they're stupid. They think they're on it. It's just, I hated this movie so much. And I knew I was going to.
And even at the end, like when they finally get home and he's hiding in there, like, first of all, he's a gunman. He's a trained army colonel, and he has them in his sights. He's hiding behind the door, first of all. And then he come in and he's got him. And then he just gets knocked out by getting hit by the door like 4 times. He couldn't move over. His feet aren't longer than his face. Like, I don't know do you lean forward when you have a gun?
It's heavy, or it's top heavy, so you gotta lean down. But so what they didn't show was the cartoon version of his toes being curled up when the door opened the first time, so the door could make it all the way to his face.
Oh my God. So stupid. And then you're not even done. It's not in the end, because after that, now he's barbecuing and the aliens show up to kill him. I don't even remember what happens to them. I think he burns them.
I was so checked out by then. I was just like, please, credits roll. credits roll. He was talking to the neighbor over the fence or something, and then the aliens came, and the dog is like trying to get his attention or something, and then like he never sees them, I think is the case. They get set on fire, they take off, and the dog is just like, what can I do?
So stupid.
It's
And that is the stupid thing. I'm not even going to subject you to any more of our joking review. So over.
I'm serious. I'm serious. This is not a joke.
So overall, Brian, would you say that you would recommend this movie to anybody?
No, to no one.
I would not either, but I do want to thank you, Paul, for putting it in our attention. We checked it out. Thank you for letting us joke about it and having some fun with it.
Did Paul like this, or is he punishing us?
I hope he liked it. I think he
You know what I mean?
did.
Like, I mean, because we're like severely poo-pooing on this. It might be like his beloved childhood flick. You know, it might be his. It might be his. I don't know. What's the one with the flying dog thing? Never Ending Story or something. You know,
well,
which doesn't hold up.
I hate that movie too. Everybody's like defends it to hell, and I'm like, come on, there's so many better even fantasy movies from that time, but we'll get there. But I asked Paul as I was watching the movie, I texted him and I was like, listen, is this one that you like is like beloved to you that you really love? Because if his answer was yes, I wasn't going to do this. I couldn't do it to him.
Thank you for your patronage.
Yes,
we're not gonna honor your request. Is that how Patreon works? I need to start a Patreon.
We should put Pulling Focus on the Patreon.
Dude, what do you want us to talk about? Yeah, we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. We'll pick apart the stupids. No, we won't. Not anymore. We did it once. So, like, listen, Paul, I can appreciate you liking this movie, and clearly, you know, with the comments being read, people do appreciate this movie. I don't think the two of us did very much. So, but keep them coming. Keep the requests coming. Let's see what else you guys got. We want to check them out. Go check out the stupids for yourself. That's all I'll say. Because, you know, you may like it, you may not. Who knows?
Or don't.
Or don't. I mean, I can give you a list of other things to watch if you want. And no, comedies. I'll just stick with comedies. But yeah, that is our plot roast for this episode where we talked about the stupids. I want to thank my very special guest, who I'm sure you will see again, Mr. Brian Patrick. Check us out on Pulling Focus Podcast. It's a lot of fun. Down in the description below is skylineindiefilmfest.org, where we are, and we're on all podcast platforms. So go check that out. We have a lot of fun. We get to movies eventually, but we talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like we're debating a new name for the show. Lack of Focus is a high contender, and ADH Dads is another.
Well, my wife says to me, she goes, "You got," because I told her about Arkham Horror, and like I was telling, you know, we were playing a board game, which we have to continue, by the way.
Yeah,
I have not lost interest. I'm really into it.
Well, I've continued playing all 4 characters, and things aren't going well.
Oh no, I gotta get back over there. So my wife was like, "You should have a thing where you play board games, and you should call it Board Games of Bullshit, where we just bullshit during a board game."
Oh hell yeah! Sign me up. I'm down for that.
I'll bring the recorder over, and we can just do it while we play.
I'm there.
That'd be fun.
This is a 6-hour game. You're coming in at hour 4.5.
We have like 5 episodes this season. Every season's like a different board game. Yeah. But we're also, I might be able to get Casey and Gerard in on it with us, and we can get this game actually going. But
yeah, that'd be fun.
This is just us. This is us on Pulling Focus. We just talk about whatever comes. We just
can't
gave you a small
can't
snippet.
end the show. We can't end the show.
We just keep talking. So check us out over on Pulling Focus Podcast. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we're coming back strong. We have some more stuff to talk about, so join us there. It's always a good time. Brian, thank you so much for joining in, man.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate you inviting me, man.
All right. Well, hopefully we can get you back for more. But guys, until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan. Check us out. Check out the Scene Snobs everywhere. You know where to follow. Go to thescenesnobs.com for all your links and more. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, Mick's movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original and fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.